If you're like most people, CPU and RAM sound more like a university and its mascot than computer words you can actually define. You know a megabyte is big, but you have no idea how that compares with a gigahertz and what they measure. Well, don't worry. If you plan on using your computer for email, digital photos, and maybe a financial program, you don't need to be able to become fluent in this crazy language. We're going to give you a brief explanation on your computer's insides, and hopefully you'll only need this information to tell your neighbor that you have more RAM than they do. Both desktops and laptops have a central processing unit, or CPU, that acts as the brain for the computer. The CPU is inside of your system unit and not something you typically see. When people talk about the speed of a computer, they are referring to the speed of the CPU, or how fast the computer can think. A CPU speed is measured in gigahertz. The higher the gigahertz, the more instructions per second the computer can process. We'll show you in just a second how to determine the gigahertz of your computer. The second most important aspect in affecting your computer's performance is its memory. The amount of memory a computer can use is measured in bytes. Typically, you will hear terms like megabytes or gigabytes. There are two types of memory in your computer: RAM and hard disk memory. RAM means random access memory, but you don't need to remember that. Just know that RAM, sometimes called system memory, is a measure of electronic or short-term memory that is used by your computer to operate itself and applications. The more RAM you have, the more applications you can run quickly at the same time. If you don't have enough RAM, some applications will appear to work very slowly. Most computers today come with 1 gigabyte of RAM. If you're buying something new, we recommend getting at least 2 gigabytes of RAM. Windows 7 has made it easy to see your computer's processor and RAM information. Click the Start button in the bottom left of your screen. Now, right-click Computer and select Properties. Now you can see a system summary, which includes the details on your system's CPU and RAM. In our demonstration, the RAM information here is empty, but on your system, this will be populated with the amount of megabytes of RAM on your computer. If you wish to try this exercise, click pause on your video player now and follow these instructions. Hard disk memory is memory that you use to store your pictures and documents. It is also the place where your operating system and applications are stored. The size of hard disks vary, and manufacturers are continually making ever larger hard drives. Generally, if you have a computer purchased in the last couple of years, you probably don't need to worry too much about hard drive space. Later in this training, we will discuss computer folders and drives, and we'll show you how to see how much space you are using and how much you have left on your hard drive. This concludes our discussion regarding computer hardware. You should now have a basic understanding of your core computer hardware, as well as some experience using your mouse. If you are interested in learning how to customize your monitor's display or your mouse sensitivity, see our Customizing Windows chapter